Hello, compassionate souls. I'm Dr. Barb from Soul Solutions in the island of Saint Martin. And tonight I wanted to provide a program that is near and dear to my heart. I think the time for it to be shared is now. And it's a deep subject. And I'm not sure everybody that listens to it will be able to hear the whole process, but I highly encourage you to take the time if you can and listen to the nuances of it and to take from it what serves you and to leave the rest. But this program is specifically to all those people out there that are suffering with the things that are going on that they feel are out of their control. Maybe the things that they're waking up to and realizing this is not what I thought the world was made of, and feeling a sadness or a frustration because they have no way to control what's going on. And maybe not even feeling heard. So this program is called Living in Cognitive Dissonance. And it's how are we able to move through the uncovering of these long-held truths or long-held untruths. So I want to be able to share this with you. So it's kind of like when you learn a story and you think of it like as an old wives' tale or a shamanic story or children's story or maybe even a movie. And in the way that they describe something in a movie, and it's really their way of giving disclosure to the masses, right? Of sharing information. So we're told many things before we see them unfold on our eyes. And I know a lot of us are probably, again, that's what cognitive dissonance is, right? It's in denial. But take a look at, the movie Toy Story. And, there was a minor and there was a girl being captured and being sold out. Or Toys Inc., where you have children that are, taken, and while they're screaming and in terror and in horror, their energy that they're screaming, the sadness or the fear they have as they're screaming is being captured. And is this commodity. Or the movie The Matrix, or the movie The Matrix, we know is pretty an obvious one, but The Simpsons. Now there's got to be nobody left in the United States, at least, that was watch The Simpsons that doesn't know what's going on with that and disclosure that's coming out through The Simpsons, and then the things happen in reality. But there are probably many more that you can recall that are like that. But we're being told through programming that we just don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to know it. We're like, oh, we laugh at it. We think, oh, well, that's an interesting story. That's an interesting concept. But we don't want to believe it's real. We want to just believe it's a story. And that is really, they're telling us what they're doing. And I'm not even going to go into what they is. So cognitive dissonance is a mental discomfort that allows you to hold two or more contradictory beliefs or values and attitudes at the same time, and they're contradictory, like meaning that smoking is not good for you, but you still smoke anyway, or that honesty is important, but maybe you tell a little white lie here or there, or that it's important to be healthy to live a long life, but yet you don't exercise or you don't eat nutritious food. So there's these different things, right? That is a cognitive dissonance, but that's not the one I'm talking about. It goes much deeper than that. There are actually 5 descriptions of cognitive dissonance. The first one is called post-decisional, but that's where you second guess yourself. You make a decision, and then after you've made the decision and it can't be changed, then you go back and you regret what you've made, like maybe like a buyer's remorse for buying something. So that's after you've made the decision. So another one is wanting something that you can't have. Maybe you see a woman that you think is desirable and you really want to be with her and you want her to be your girlfriend, or you want to be in this place with someone, and then you can't have it. So there's a unhappiness or a feeling of tenseness about that. That's a wanting kind of cognitive dissonance. And then there's the inconsistency of attitude and behavior, which is the one I just mentioned, which is knowing something's bad for you but doing it anyway. Then there's the fourth one is called inadequate justification. So that means, let's say we really, really want something to happen, and we're putting our time and our talent in, and we're going to, doing all this work to make it happen. And then when we get to the success part of it, we believe we just wasted our time and it's not going to work anyway. It's like somebody going to school for a long time to maybe become a doctor, and they get to the end and go, I don't even know why I did this. I don't even want to be a doctor. So there's an inadequate justification for what they've gone through. But the one that we're going to focus on tonight in this program specifically is called commitment and information. And this occurs when we have a common belief, value, or an idea before having all the information or the new information. And then when we get it, it contradicts the commitment. So what we've committed to this belief, we say we're in, we believe it, we're sharing it with everybody, we're telling them how great it is. This is our commitment, and I have a belief to it. But then we find out we probably shouldn't have done that because maybe there's information that we didn't realize, or we didn't have the whole story, or maybe we didn't even have the truth. So there's a contradiction in that belief. Once we find out, oh, that's not what I believed, it creates a tension. That's the cognitive dissonance I'm talking about. The way many of us were raised to believe certain things, and as we get older, we begin to find out that's not the truth. And so then we look at, well, these experiences are created, and many of us create our own reality, and we do it to ensure that we're having the life that we wish to live. So, I'm living in a house, and I live in St. Martin, and I am purposely creating my own reality and letting things unfold. I'm doing my best to create my own life. But we have this expansion of existence. There are powers that have existed a really long time. They've been there a long time, and they're like the actual basis for those who are living life right now. We were given the basics of life. We were given the basics of understanding that we're living right now. And many of us, we don't know that we have choices, that we've just picked a role and we're being here and we begin to live it. Some call it the matrix. Most of us live in some kind of a matrix. So when we get educated in our choices, we're usually of a standard. You believe you have choices. And part of the brainwashing that we've been through, and part of this cognitive dissonance that we're living in, is that we believe that our choices are really our choices. And we are funneled into making decisions. And you may have like hundreds of choices to do with your life and go and study and whatever, but you may not realize what all those choices are. You may feel like you only have maybe 4 or 5 choices to choose from, or maybe even 10. And it sounds like a lot, but when you keep to the basics of the matrix, because that's the way you're in there, it's easier. So let's say you grew up in farmland and you were a farmer, your children are farmers. That's how you work together. You raise each other to be in this farming place. And I'm using it as an example because it's a way we just kind of hover there as a family, and that's what we know, and that we're serving the world, and it's a good thing, right? But a lot of times we're put in this matrix to keep us inside of an area, to keep us watched, to keep us tracked, to make sure we're not going too far out of the proposed guidelines that they want to have us in. And I want you to look at it this way. I grew up in the 70s, and I wasn't necessarily a wild child, but I had my own ideas of what I thought: make love, not war. And, life is meant to be happy, and, we can heal ourselves. I had that, that thing going on. And so those that are awake and living in unconditional love, and we have more freedom, or we're more self-empowering, we're more self-actualized into like what we want to be. We feel like we make better decisions outside of the box. But when we make decisions outside of the box, and we're considered crazy, or lazy, mentally ill, or we don't want to follow the rules. Like, we get these labels put on us because we don't want to stay inside of the matrix. We want to try something different. We want to, take off and go to Colombia and live in the rainforest, or we want to go do other things outside the normal, what people consider the standards. So when we decide that we want to have an experience, we choose it, or at least we think we do. And as long as we're inside that matrix, we're not going to get harassed a lot. So some people call us living inside this matrix. We call it being asleep. So we are asleep because we don't know, this is where we live. We don't know about all the possibilities out here of where we potentially could be going and what we could be doing. So we're in this state of what we call asleep. So how can the whole world be asleep? And where is the control coming from? Now, I can tell you, if you're looking at before the CV-19, if you're looking at before that happened, a lot more of us were asleep. And one of the biggest mistakes made for those powers that be that want to keep us asleep, one of the biggest mistakes they made was shutting us down. So a lot of us could spend time on the internet and do our research and find out what's really going on. It didn't work in their favor the way they planned on it, and that particular piece of it. So how can this whole world be asleep? And where is that control coming from? So who are that controlling group? Well, they're the elite, the cabal. They are the Illuminati. They're the higher echelon. There's an umbrella that is just this controlling group that's spreading and creating darkness and sleep. They want us to stay asleep. They want everything to be in darkness. They want everything to be in low vibration. This elite cabal, Venetian families, I mean, there's so many different words for it. No matter what you call it, we'll just call it the elite. And so where is the control coming from? It's this group. And what are they doing exactly? They're doing what needs to be done to keep the masses asleep and under a spell. That's their programming. They want to teach the individuals, they want to teach us, they want to teach them to be victims. We want to be led to this process where we feel we have no freedom, and they want to give us the language that keeps us enslaved. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. He won't let me do that. And this whole blaming other people. So there's always someone on top of us holding us in place, telling us what to do, controlling us. They want to keep us in this low vibration. They want us to be in depression. They want us to be in self-doubt. They want us to be in overwhelming. They want us to stay in this low vibration in thoughts, words, and in actions. That's what they're looking for. That's the what. And why are they doing it? Why are they doing that? Why is this asleep cognitive dissonance happening? It's because for thousands of years, and specifically for the last 60 especially, they've held into completing this plan called the 2030 agenda. They really want us to be in this place of being neutralized just about by 2030. But this COVID-19 that gave us that 4 years of reprieve to kind of start waking up has thrown them off completely. And along with a lot of the political things that are happening and the changes coming there, they're rushing to move the agenda up. They're rushing through their processing of what they had planned. And what they're doing is making mistakes, and we're beginning to see the cracks in their foundation, and they're becoming more and more clear to us. So we ask, well, where is this going on? It's going across the whole world. It's in the underground facilities, it's the portals. There's so much involved as to the where. I'm not going to go into the where, but it's everywhere. It's all of us, and it's everywhere. So how are they keeping us asleep? How are they doing it? They're doing it by dumbing us down, by putting things in our food, putting things in our air, putting chemtrails up in the sky to put chemicals into our bodies and processing. They're numbing us down. They're trying to use any way they can to help us fight amongst each other. They're trying to play woke against normies, awake. I don't even know what the terminologies are anymore. They're trying to blindside us. They're trying to keep us busy. They're trying to keep us in constant contradiction. They want us to argue. They want us to feel a lack of self-worth. They want us to feel our lowest vibrations. They want to keep the humans feeling low in vibration. They want to keep us so busy producing and just in this wheel, like the hamster wheel. They want us so busy just doing this over and over and over again that we don't have the time to come out. We got to be in constant self-doubt and constant low vibration. And this is how they keep us inside this matrix and how they're keeping us asleep. We're busy defending and fighting and arguing and being dumbed down. We can't use our brain to figure out what we want to figure out. Like there's a lot of, maybe say amplified, and in some ways it is, but it's to give you the perspective of what I'm talking about. So how are they doing this? How are they keeping us in this process? And I'm going to just say there's a lot of, we call them funnels of disinformation, funnels that they make you think it's the truth. They give you a little bit, but actually what they're giving you is they're sucking you down this place of taking your vibration, lowering your vibration, trying to keep this uneducated process and bringing you down these funnels. So it starts with fake media, the fake news, the televisions, newspapers, magazines, radios. their only job is to give you what they want you to be the narrative. And if you listen to one media and you listen to 200 media, they're all giving you the same narrative, the same information. And after a while, you begin to realize they're all just in rote routine with each other. And when you really start looking at all the different newses, you realize, and they're only telling you what they want to tell you, and they're not even telling you the truth. What the hell's going on here, right? You get really like, something's not right. But those funnels of lies, I'm not even going to go into detail, but it's politics, religion, medical, pharmaceutical, educational, entertainment, sports, outer space, agriculture, science, air quality, water quality, human trafficking, sex trafficking, and all the horrible things that they're doing to the children that I won't even go into detail on. So that is the funnels information. That's where they want us to stay up in the echelon of that, and the brokenness and the lies of those categories, and making us believe that that's the truth. But when we really start to come down these funnels, we begin to realize there's a lot of untruths being here, and we need to unfold it. Now, if you're on the side where you're already waking up, you're already part of the cognitive dissonance, you're wanting to share with other people, you're wanting to understand, you're under researching, you're doing all these things because you want to know more. It's really important to understand a compassionate listener, definitely just like a compassionate listens. We need to allow others that are going through this cognitive dissonance to be able to share with their words, their thoughts, their feelings. They need to validate where they are. They need to validate their frustrations or what's going on. And we're not justifying, qualifying, or agreeing with or sharing with them what we agree with and what we don't agree with. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing a share. We're sitting and listening to them, and we're letting them tell you where they're at. They're telling me where they're at. We just listen. All we do is sit and we patiently listen to them as they tell us the story, their beliefs. Let them unfold. If they're in a cognitive dissonance, they need someone who can talk to that's not going to be judging them. They just need to talk. And when you have a loved one that just can't handle the topics, and again, you're letting them lead you, there's a few things you can do. There's a few choices. You can smile and just say nothing, or you can offer to share information if they have questions. We don't need to share information if they're not asking questions, but we need to keep the topics as neutral as possible. We don't want to goat them, taunt them, or talk down to them. Nobody wants to be talked down to. And we never want to say, I told you so. Sometimes we woke up and we want to go tell the world what's going on. But then when we start to do that, people looked at us like we were crazy. And then we're like, okay. And now that they're beginning to wake up, we want to be able to say, I told you so. But we don't do that. That's not nice. We don't do that. So what we want to encourage people to do, we want to encourage people to be high in vibration. We want you to get up to your highest vibration to feel really good, love and gratitude and compassion. And what makes you feel like you can sing? What feels attractive to you? Where you can take action on. You can see where you're making progress. And when you start to wane, like things start to like slow down for you, bring your energy back up. Find a synchronicity that makes you feel wonderful and high in vibration. And doing this, then we want to continue to follow this over and over again. We want to follow our passion. We want to follow our excitement. We want to follow this energy that makes us feel like we're alive. The bigger, the stronger, the more synchronicities, the better. And the more we practice this and the more it grows, the more this cognitive dissonance gets softer, it gets easier. And we want to bring all forms of abundance into our life. And a lot of human beings just think of money as abundance, but there's so much more than that. Besides the vibration of love and appreciation and respect, we also have the vibration. If somebody gives you a gift, that's an abundance. If somebody's baking you a meal, that's an abundance. And if you have a beautiful home and you get to look out over the ocean, that's abundance. That's vibrational, high vibrational energy. That's a form of abundance. So sometimes it all comes together in different ways to create an easy path for you to support and allow yourself to live the high vibration. We want to stay in as high vibration as we can, especially when we're coming into this cognitive dissonance or coming out of this cognitive dissonance. We want to stay high in vibration because we want to get through it as easily as we can. And we know we have this natural progression of growing up, and as we get older, we are trained as a child. We're taught and trained certain philosophies and certain beliefs. And as we become a teenager or a young parent, a grandparent, we already have those beliefs, and then we put more beliefs on top of them. Of, what did we learn while we were in school with our friends? What, learn at the PTA meetings, or, what continued training did we take when we went to school? Or, and again, there's a lot of media brainwashing. We all of that consolidates. And then we learn things at our school, at our jobs, at our church, and in politics. And we all know that there's a whole bunch of nastiness happening in a lot of those categories right now. So we actually had strings of brainwashing and all of those things that maybe we're looking at now going, oh my God, I can't believe that I was living in that and didn't see it. Because that's what a lot of it's going to be. I didn't see it. So as you have experiences in life, you begin to wake up, seeing things differently, opening your eyes, hearing things differently, and you begin to recognize many of the topics, they vary in black and white and gray. And I think that that's one of the most frustrating things about this process we're going through. If you believe in timelines or you believe in dimensions, there's a lot going on energetically as we begin to wake up and recognize these things. So then I asked the question, what are the topics that make you feel like you're being challenged mentally and emotionally? Maybe it's law. I wanted to go to law school. And then I started looking at the contradictions within the laws. And I was mesmerized and mind boggled that the memorization that you need, because it didn't make logical sense in many of the ways. So I decided I'm not going to do law. This is too much memorization and things that, quite frankly, there were some of I felt unethical about. There's the medical field. I was in the medical field for a while. I technically am because I'm an energy doctor, but in the actual medical field, and I was mesmerized by the fact that they'll give you a drug for everything and not look into other pieces of it. So I began to realize the medical field is very tainted. Not all doctors and nurses and medical practitioners are bad people, but they're in a very incorrect and they're in a system that is broken. And then there's a lot of things going on with the weather manipulation, whether you believe it or not. Forget the pun, but there are things going on. So we need to be able to wake up to, like, I didn't know what I didn't know, but now that I'm beginning to know that, what the heck is going on here? And then there's a game we call the what if. What if, right? What if? So being open to the what ifs. What if this is possibly true? You may hear the weirdest thing and go, oh, that's crazy. That couldn't be. But then you want to play the game, what if? And we're going to just allow. We're going to play this game even right now. What if? So when we're playing the game of what if, just allow yourself to be open to hearing it all. Just allow yourself to hear the whole story. Allow yourself to go, okay, what if? And you don't have to believe it. You don't have to take it as gospel, but we're going to play the game of what if. And just allow the story to be seen, like a movie scene. And you're hearing it and pretending it's a movie scene, because that makes it easier to handle it without the emotion. So you're going to take all the emotion off of it, and we just want to hear the story and watch the story unfold in our movie scene, okay? We have no judgments. We're playing the game what if. Okay, you don't know what you don't know, right? And you have a choice to listen and either be open to thinking it may be true or not being true. That's a part of that, because you don't know. And then after openly listening to the story with no emotion, then we allow ourselves to feel the inside of our heart and the inside of our solar plexus. We allow ourselves to go inside and just feel what our body feels like. And then we say to our body, not our brain, we say to our body, how does that feel? And we just allow the body to feel the story, and then feel the energy that your body feels about it. Your body will begin to give you energy into the truthfulness, the non-truthfulness, being able to sit back and give discernment. Our body can tell us all kinds of cool things. So if you're playing the game of what if, I highly encourage you to play a game like this. Put that story out with no emotion, and then let your body tell you yes or no. And there's Daryl Anka, who he speaks for Bashar. Bashar speaks through him. How to find the truth. So when we're looking at the truth of something, because again, we're talking about cognitive dissonance, what is the truth of of what the topic is, what Daryl says is, or what Bashar says is, when we're in our highest level of vibration, when we are in our highest truth, when we are in a place that is vibrationally special, our body won't lie to us. It will tell us the truth. But so when we're staying high in vibration, we can learn many things. So if we're acting on our passion, if we're saying, we're asking ourselves, so why is this important? Your physical mind, your body, your soul, and raising your vibration. The energy from our physical body will translate a message to us. It will help us feel a message. We will feel it. And if we want to be in passion, then we want to follow our passion through the next step. We want to raise our vibration, and we want to stay high in this vibration. That helps us get out of cognitive dissonance too, when our vibration is low. We want to be in a passion. We want to follow our passion. And if we really want our guidance to be spiritually powerful, we want to follow the sensation. We want to follow this path of what feels good. You know that saying went way back when, if it feels good, do it. So if it feels good to follow this concept of this, let's say you're listening to music, and if you're listening to music, you just feel like, oh, this is so exciting. Then you want to stay with that music. Or if you're working on a project and doing the project makes you so happy and high and tuned and feeling connected, then you want to work with that project. You want to act on it. You want to respond. You want to respond to anything that's making you feel happy in your soul, because we want the vibration to stay up and solid. And when you don't act on your vibrations, and you don't act on your guidance, and you're not staying in tune with your guidance, then your guidance becomes less powerful, and it becomes more relaxed, and it doesn't guide you because you're not focusing on it with great joy. So if it feels correct, sing to your heart, let your soul feel good, and keep doing that and moving on to the next thing. If something doesn't feel right, if your vibration is lowering, then your body is saying something's not right with this information, something's not right in this decision, and it gives you hints on what to do next. So on the other side of it, if you are, we're all human, we all are human, and I teach a lot of techniques to humans. So if you are in a place, let's say you found something out and you're angry, you're frustrated, you're feeling insecure, maybe you're feeling grief, or you're mad, you get fear. It's really important to not make decisions in that situation, but to be able to reach down into your body and be able to remove that energy. I breathe in a lot the light of God, and I breathe in and I release anything that no longer serves me. And I breathe in and I breathe out anything that no longer serves me. And I try to take that energy and I take the energy and remove anything that no longer serves me, anything that's making me angry, fearful, frustrated, or in grief. I want to remove that energy. And we just take a moment and try to pull that energy out of you, because you're not going to make the best decisions with that energy inside of you. So take a moment, starting the process from a neutral position. We want to be, in worst case scenario, vibrationally, we want to be in neutral. We want to be, optimistic, pessimistic, even boredom is better than being in the lower part of the vibration. So we want to let go of the low vibration. And we want to do this through this process. And there are things that I really highly encourage people to do, to pray about, pray about the energy, pray to have the energy raised, having great words with prayer. Or sometimes even just taking a few minutes to reflect on what just happened. What did I learn from it? What can this experience give to me? What can I learn from this experience? Like, how do you reflect on like, maybe there's something that stopped you where you're at, or you might say, hey, I had this problem before, and the last time I had this problem, this is what I did. So there might be messages your body's trying to give you. You might see, hear, or feel something very different once you remove the energy from you. Remember, a lot of times when we're holding negative energy, it's not even ours. It's not even our energy. So we want to see, hear, and feel the goodness of what we're doing. We want to even take them, just be in the moment. We just want to be in the moment, relax in the moment, be at peace in the moment, and let go of everything else. Breathing in and letting go. And then we want to remember that we are these beautiful spiritual beings, that we are in charge of our life, that we are in this process of awakening. And we want to remember how powerful we are. So we really want to hold that. And always, 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 I say to everyone, breathe, just breathe it out. Just breathe it out. Breathe in the goodness, in with the good and out with the bad. Breathe it in and release it. We are magical creators. We have so much to offer and so much to give. So what we want to do is breathe in the good and release the bad. Breathe in the beautiful air of God, we release the energy, vibration, breathe it in, and then release anything that no longer serves us. So when we're practicing these tools, we can actually remove these negative vibrations from our body, release them, and then go back up to the passion, go up to what turns us on, what soothes us. And then that's the vibration that we want to hang out in, because that's how we're going to create a new reality. That's how we're going to recognize what is really truthful and what's really not truthful in front of us. We want to be able to recognize that. And then there comes this time when I remember my reality check when I came to this, there's all these discrepancies. It's like, okay, so if that's not true, and that's not true, what else have they not told us? What else are they covering up? What else are they lying to us about? What's going on? What else do I not know about? So when you get to this point and you're like wanting to find out what's going on, start small. Just start small. Pick a little topic. Don't go down major rabbit holes, because if you do that, you're going to get lost in there, and it's going to cause a lower vibration. It's going to potentially cause depression. I went through this when I was trying to overdo everything. You need to start small and work on one topic at a time. We need to recognize a lot of brainwashing has happened, a lot. And the beautiful thing is, once you realize there is brainwashing, then you can begin to pull yourself out of it and start seeking the truth and looking and other directions and saying, well, if this is what they've been telling us, what's the opposite of that? And then which one resonates in my body? What feels like truth and what doesn't? And, we're in a matrix. So the reality of the bigness of what's out here, we may be able to enjoy it, and we may not, we might say, well, I don't enjoy it, but we need to understand that they don't want us to break through the matrix. They want us to stay there. We're in these layers of deception and control. And once we break out of this matrix and we become our own person, we're not as controllable. They want us to be in the status quo. And they've done this by the way we're educated, the media, the school, the pharmaceuticals, the medical, the rich and beautiful. Oh, you want to do this. You want to look like this person. You want to have all these the qualities. We want to have all the things with the rich and famous. And as we know, as we're seeing people come down, especially the rich and famous, that's not what makes us a beautiful human. But that golden outline that they showed us, this is what you aspire to. That's how they've kept us. That's part of how they kept us in the matrix. So once we wake up to like, oh my gosh, I was in a matrix. I was following somebody else's design for my life. I was doing what they wanted me to do. You're going to wake up and you're going to feel like somebody passed away. You lost a part of yourself. You're going to be in mourning. And when you're in mourning, you wake up and you say, I'm in shock. I can't believe I fell for this. There's so much untruthfulness in the world. Now I start second guessing myself. And oh my goodness, I'm going to be judging my past choices. Oh my gosh, that was so wrong. I shouldn't have done that, but I thought it's what I was supposed to do. So then we second guess ourselves. We judge ourselves for our past decisions. And that's a horrible vibration to be in. That's a horrible vibration. So we begin to think something is not right. How do I fix this? How do I stop this madness? Well, when we go through the state of mourning and we begin to realize something wasn't right, it was out of our control, and we were held in this space, we get mad. We get mad and we say, who is this to choose what I get to do with my life? I'm a free soul. I'm a sovereign being. We get mad. We get angry. And then we stand up. Mourning will take us through the processes, and then we stand up. We stand back up. And then we put our fist out and we say, no more. No more am I going to tolerate being told all these things and believing all these things. I'm waking up. And I'm not going to go into the topics because I don't want to become political in any way, shape, or form during this process. So then we say, okay, we're going through the morning. We're going to stand up. We're not going to take it anymore. How do we begin to heal? Because we have to heal. So prayer, being calm, asking for forgiveness for not knowing. We do need to go through unconditional love for ourselves, but we also need to go through forgiveness. Forgiveness for not knowing. Forgiveness for not seeing and not being able to easily know what steps to take forward. Even once we begin to find out, sometimes we're frozen in how do we move forward. You know, we're trying to stay out of fear, right? We want to stay out of fear. Fear is a low vibration. And remember, love is the high vibration. This is where we want to be, right? We want to be in love, high vibration. But hate is not the opposite of fear. I mean, no, it's not. Hate is the opposite of love, we think, but it's really not. Because you know why? Fear is even lower. And if you look on the energetic scale, you look at the vibrational scale, love is at the top and fear is literally at the bottom and hate is up about here. So what we understand is we don't want to be in fear. We want to be out of fear. We don't want to participate in fear. We want to participate in love. So first thing we have to do is go through forgiveness. We have to let ourselves go. We have to forgive ourselves for anything that we did that we didn't know we're doing wrong. We need to practice staying in love and staying calm. And we need to stay in this unconditional love. And that's what we really need to focus on for our highest energy is unconditional love and forgiveness. And we want to practice what those things are. We talked earlier about, you know, finding our passion and going after this place of high vibration and standing in it. So when we're in fear, we create a lower vibration. And when we are more vulnerable and more susceptible, we allow people to walk on us and we allow to be controlled. So we don't want to be in fear because we want to learn how to be free. We want to stand up. We want to be empowered. Those words, empowerment and freedom, are up in the vibration of love. And being controlled, which is where a lot of us have been, is down in fear. We're afraid not to follow the rules. And there are rules for reasons, but there's a ridiculous amount of rules and taxations and things that shouldn't be there to hold us down. So what we want to understand is we must spend the base of our energy in love. Yes, we want to study the truths as they unfold, but if we find something that's very uncomfortable, which will happen, we need to be able to process that and let go of that energy, like we talked before, let go of the energy and release the energy, because we need to move forward. And we can't continue to move forward in anger and fear and those low vibrations, because that's just going to create more of it in our body. We got to learn the topic, let go of the fear, stay in love, and then continue to move through the truths as they unfold for us. And that's part of the healing process. So, you know, how do we retrain and learn the truth, learn to trust ourselves, and making sure that we recognize the truth and going forward? I mean, who can we trust? What organizations can we trust? What about the family members that maybe hurt us or berated us? Or when we tried to say something about the truth, they gave us a hard time telling us we're the ones that are crazy. So how can we trust our choices going further forward? How can we know that we're living in truth? Here's the words. You ready? Research, 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 and find like-minded people that has the same new beliefs. Get together in like-minded groups. When two or more are gathered in a name, and two or more are gathered in a vibration, that vibration is amplified. That's scientifically proven. It's metaphysically true. So what we want to do is research and then find the like-minded people that are finding the same evidence, and you want to walk with them, you want to talk with them, you want to become a part of their group so you can grow together. So also praying, resonating, staying high in vibration. I was explaining this to some other people the other day. When you practice smiling, love, the vibrations of high things, the vibrations that are truthful and amazing. When you practice that and you just let that energy keep going through your body over and over and over, it brings you to the high vibration, which is called the state of truth, the state of love. When you practice that and you're always in that vibration and you hold it the majority of the time, you're holding it the majority of the time. And then something that is not true and is not good for you, you bring that toward you, your body will react. Your body will go, no, thank you. No, thank you. It's just like applied kinesiology and muscle testing. If you're in this high vibration, you're feeling good about yourself, you know your truth, and then you pick up something that's bad for you and you bring it toward your body will reject it. Your body will, once you learn your body, how subtle it is, your body will say, no, thank you. So it's important to understand this vibrational thing. It's so big. And we look, these are revelations. These are revelations you're learning about. You're learning about the act of revealing something or disclosing something that's been hidden from you. Something that was that you had no exposure to. So something that was not before realized, unveiled, and it's a new happening. So this revelation, I want you to understand this piece that an introduction to something new, not realized or recently uncovered, which was previously not seen because of lack of sight. Okay, there's multiple reasons for having lack of sight, and this is really important. The first, lack of seeing, is purposefully wool pulled over your eyes. Your mother, your grandmother, the government, the doctors, whoever, they're wool pulled over your eyes. That's called deception. So your first lack of seeing is deception. Deception, okay? The second lack of seeing, which is desiring to not know what is happening. That's putting your head in the sand. That's saying, oh, that can't possibly be true. Or maybe this, I don't want to do it. It's called ignorance. So if I know, let's say I suspect that one of my neighbors is abusing their child. And I go, I can't do anything about it. And I turn my head. There's an ignorance there because you're allowing abuse of somebody else. Not that it's easy to get involved in anybody else's business, but I find a moral belief that if I see a child or someone being hurt or molested or whatever, I have a moral obligation to do something about that. I'm not necessarily going to be the one to jump in and say, hey, stop, but I am going to find someone who is related to them or call the police or somehow participate. Because if not, I'm assisting in that and I'm letting that happen. That's a level of ignorance. But a level of ignorance is also knowing, you know that you don't know and you know something's wrong, but you know if you do something about it, it's going to get uncomfortable. And I'd rather sit here in my little world than have to start studying or understanding how bad it is. And for a lot of people, it's like Stockholm syndrome. You're like, oh no, the people who captured me, they're really good people. They don't mean to be mean to me. I'm not going to talk bad about them. I'm not going to try to leave. I'm going to stay here. So that's a lack of seeing through ignorance. The third lack of seeing is just unable to see. You're looking, but you're not seeing what's in front of your eyes. If it's there, and you know it's there, and you keep looking for it, and this is the one that most of us are going through right now, and this is called camouflaged. We are going through camouflaged lack of seeing. But as soon as you start practicing, you start seeing more and more and more things, and you're beginning to recognize, oh my gosh, I see this now. It's like watching one of those pictures where it has two different pictures, and once you see the second picture, you can't not see it. Like it'll always be seen now. So that's kind of what that is like. That's camouflaged. So in Revelations, that has been through deception, ignorance, or camouflage, the revelations are happening now. They're worldwide. They're all over the place. And we all have the responsibility to open up to the revelations of what's going on around us. And a lot of us, we're past deception. A lot of us don't know that we're still in ignorance, but that, maybe we are. But the camouflage is where the majority of us hold ourselves right now, as being in that revelation and not seeing, because it's still camouflage, but we're beginning to wake up and see it. Because once you start seeing a pattern, then more and more happens. So becoming a part of this massive awakening, which is what I'm praying that we can all do now and do it together. The news is there if you open your eyes and look for it. There's no doubt the news is there. And we have stopped listening to the mainstream media, the majority of us, stopped listening to the mainstream media and the brainwashing that has been provided to us for decades. We're done. We see it. We're not going to do it anymore. We've started looking and listening to raw information, not just accepting what's in front of us. And when I say raw information, some of the stuff is not fun. Some of the stuff hurts. Some of the stuff feels like a slap in the face. But we need to look for it. We need to find it. We need to listen to it. And there are a lot of truthers out there right now. They'll gladly share just about any topic with you easily and freely, because we realize that this information is not for just those who can afford it. It's for all of us. It's to wake up humanity. It's to waken up all of humanity. So we need to look even for the raw information, and as much as it hurts, we've got to go understand it. And then I want to remind everybody, the funds that have been kept from the masses will be returned. The debt will be wiped out as we know it, and the criminals that were holding all this against us and this harshness, there's going to be a harsh energy for them that did this. A harsh energy is not, it's not for me. The harsh judgment is going to be poured out from God onto the criminals. He's going to take that piece. He's going to move forward with that piece. So we have to have prayers to thank God for the life that we have, the gift of life, and the preciousness we have. And when we stand in full unconditional love and forgiveness, we practice gratitude and compassion. When we can stand in that and hold that vibration high, we're actually putting a light on what's going on. We're putting a light on the dark. We're putting a light on all those places where the cognitive dissonance has been alive way too long. And we're beginning to wake up the masses. So I want to make sure that we understand we have a role to play. We're no longer asleep. We have responsibilities to assist in all these different ways. So I pray that we can stand strong. Remember that cognitive dissonance is everywhere, and that we're beginning to disseminate it. And if you're ready to wake up and from living in this cognitive dissonance, this is a lot of information that will take you there. My name is Dr. Barb Tremlett of Soul Solutions, and it's your life, it's your energy, and you're not a victim. And I believe when you take responsibility with respect and self-love, you can make amazing changes in the world. And my company, Soul Solutions, is about finding your passion, expanding your consciousness, and advancing your enlightenment. It's about all of us. We're no longer victims here. So thank you for your time. Again, Dr. Barb Tremlett, Soul Solutions and St. Martin. And feel free to connect with me and ask more questions, because that's what God has me here for, to be able to assist for everyone. So thank you very much. Love and light. Namaste.